Hi there, this is garyryanblair with a great little message titled, Love Your Leftovers. When we think of leftovers, we have a tendency to think of the food that remains unused or unconsumed, and which eventually finds its way to the dog bowl. But what about the other kind of leftovers? I'm talking about the massive surplus of unused time, talent, and potential. See, in my humble opinion, the greatest waste of untapped resources in this world is the excess surplus of time, talent, and potential that does not translate into meaningful, goal-directed behavior. Now chew on that thought for a moment and indulge in this little exercise with me. I want you to imagine a future where death, disability, disease, war, and famine have been wiped out. Imagine a world where fear and uncertainty no longer exist and where courage is no longer needed. I want you to imagine a future where people don't have to work, where the government simply sends you a check and tells you to stay home and chill. Imagine a world where every household chore is fully automated, one where drones deliver your groceries and robots are at your beck and call. Imagine a world where an autonomous, self-driving car picks you up and simply transports you to your mother's house for dinner. And imagine a world where anything you can imagine is possible, and you can obtain it without having to lift a finger or break a sweat. But hold on, there's got to be a catch. So what would you do with your infinite, effortless, struggle-free life? What would you do with your massive leftover surplus of time, talent, and potential? See, when someone handed you a calculator for the first time, it meant that long division was never going to be required of you ever again. This in itself created a huge savings of time, as well as a decrease in the cognitive load of decision-making. So what do you do now? Well, you can waste whatever surplus you have and use it to entertain yourself by playing video games, by binge-watching Netflix, by putting on a headset and living in a virtual fantasy land, by taking selfies, swiping left or right on Tinder, or you can complain that life is boring, there's absolutely nothing to do. Or you can use that leftover surplus to educate and to challenge yourself to learn something new, something that would give your life meaning and direction, something that adds greater value or helps to solve a problem. Now, it's your call, but I promise you this, you'll either use that leftover surplus wisely or you will abuse it. And just remember, behavior never lies. Entire professions and industries are being disrupted by the free work and shortcuts that are being produced by the connection economy, by access to information, by robots, by artificial intelligence, and by organizations and boards who want to eliminate the need for people, pensions, and insurance premiums. Significant parts of your job are almost certainly among them, and if not yet, they soon will be. This means the questions that I posed earlier, especially how are you going to use that leftover surplus of time, talent, energy, courage, and potential that they demand serious consideration? See, humans by nature are quite predictable, as without a challenge, without self or externally enforced resistance, without the deliberate decision to use their leftover surplus to grow, to improve, and to educate themselves, they'll gravitate towards entertainment and become soft in body, mind, and spirit. That's why we need to use our leftover surplus to challenge ourselves, to keep our teeth sharp, and to show how hungry we really are. And not just physically challenged. We need intellectual, leadership, spiritual, relational, sales, and any type of performance challenge that stretches us to grow, that forces us to overcome adversity, that tests our character and commitment, and which inspires us to resist the gravitational pull of the comfort zone. So when will your finest hour come, and how will it arrive? Do you really think it'll materialize without a challenge, without you being pushed to your limits, without your perseverance being tested, without putting your leftover surplus to extremely good use? In short, for an individual, a team, company, community, or country to become great, it requires they use their leftover surplus to look for and to rise to the great challenges that are thrust upon them or the ones that they thrust upon themselves.